Hello, this is Gary Benoit, and I'm the creator of ComputerCut. I'm proud to announce the launch of our latest version of ComputerCut, version 8. We've been listening to our dealers, and we have incorporated many of the suggestions that they have made on how we can improve ComputerCut. To help you get started, I've created this video to outline some of the improvements that we've made. As you can see, the first thing we did was to give a new look to the interface of ComputerCut. We moved the database make and model up to the top and shortened the buttons on the left side here, and that gave us a lot more space to put in here. We've also used this front page as a way for us to communicate to you some of the promotions that we might be having, or some interesting things that are going on with our dealers, or just general information. So you will see this changing from time to time, and also it can be used as a link so that we can direct you to sites outside of ComputerCut. It used to be that you would select the database, the make, model, and then the year, and then you would have to come over and click a find button and it would pull up the vehicle. Now you select the database, make, model, and year, and once you select the year, the pattern will come up. Now, as I mentioned before, by moving the database, make, model, and year up here and shrinking the size of the buttons, it's given us more room in here to show more patterns. Down on the bottom here, we've highlighted the Notes and Installation Tips section, where you can put notes in yourself and where we'll post installation tips and also installation cautions to avoid when doing an installation. We still have the pictures of the vehicle down here on the left, but now if you click on it, it pops up an enlarged picture of the vehicle so you can determine if it's the correct vehicle for you to be working on. And we still have the links down on the bottom here where you can send a comment on a pattern, add a note to a pattern, submit an installation tip, and create your own versions of the patterns. So let's show you what we've done in the plotter dialog window. We'll select these two front windows here and hit the cut button, and it takes it into the plotter dialog window. One of the first improvements we've made in the plotter dialog window was to move the optimize function from here to the top, and you simply select it and it'll pop up a window, and instead of having to put in the size roll that you are using, you can select from a drop-down list. So for instance, in this situation, let's say we're going to cut from a 20-inch roll. We just select 20 and we click apply, and it automatically optimizes it for using a 20-inch roll. This is an extremely useful function for those of you who use different size rolls all the time. You can optimize them quickly and easily. Another improvement we've made, when you select multiple patterns, the pattern that you just selected will be deselected. So there's no need to unselect a pattern. If you want to select multiple patterns, all you do is hold down the Control key and click on the other pattern, and you'll select multiple patterns. We've also made improvements in the Path Edit feature. If I click on this window here and go over to the Path Edit, and I'll zoom into the bottom of the window here, it used to be when you selected some points and then went to select other points, it would deselect the points that you had just selected. So there was no way to select multiple points outside of whatever square you had. Now you can select points, and then by holding the Control key down and clicking on other points, you can select multiple points and change the pattern the way in which you would like. One of the most useful functions introduced into ComputerCut was what we called cut on a pull. It was introduced in version 7, and what it did was it would feed the material through the plotter going this way. It would start the cut here, and then as the material is being pulled back through the plotter, it would cut going this way, and then once it reached here, it would feed the material out again, and it would start to cut here. It was a major advancement because prior to that, it would cut going in both directions, and what would happen would be, because of the thickness of the material and many of them being very thin, the material, as it was cutting and being pushed through the plotter, it would jam up in the plotter and it would waste material. With the cut on the pull function, the installer can hit the cut button and literally walk away from the plotter, clean the windows of the car, and not have to worry about the material bunching up in the plotter. The way in which you would turn it on would be to go up here to the copies and overlap function and click on it, and it would open up, and there was a checkbox for a cut on the pull. Once this checkbox was checked, the cut on the pull feature would be turned on. Normally, whenever you're cutting window film, you always want the cut on the pull feature turned on. But if you're cutting paint protection, or the clear shield paint protection material, or vinyl, or other substances that have a thick liner, it's not necessary to have the cut on the pull on. Many of our ComputerCut dealers cut both vinyl and the clear shield paint protection and window film, and what was happening was, if they were to go and cut the clear shield, they would forget that the cut on the pull was turned on. So if they were cutting a large bumper or a large hood, it would take a lot of time to cut it, and some of the paint protection products do not track real well through the plotter, so many times they would waste material. We've solved this problem for our dealers in ComputerCut version 8 in two ways. First, up here on the upper left, you'll see an arrow if cut on the pull is on and the arrow is going in one direction. If I change this and take it off and click apply, you'll see that the arrow goes in two directions. So before a dealer goes to cut, they can always check and make sure that the right parameter for cut on the pull is checked. Also, in each of the databases, if you check cut on the pull, that is the default function that that particular database will default to the next time you pull up that database. So for instance here, we want the cut on the pull turned on. But in here, in the clear shield paint protection patterns, we don't want the cut on the pull turned on. So if I click on here, you'll see that it's turned off. And up here, we can see that the arrow is going in both directions. So we know that the cut on the pull is not turned on. Now, whenever we close out of this program, and we'll go back to the window tinting database. I'll pull up a recent here, which is a Ford Mustang, and then pull up these two windows. We'll see that the cut on the pull is turned on here. And if we go back to the clear shield, and we'll select that pattern once again, click the cut button. As you can see, the default is with an unchecked cut on the pull. So this eliminates you having to worry about cut on the pull being off or on for a particular database that you pull up. I'm still not done. We still have a few more improvements that we've done that I need to show you. One of them is the text feature. Previously, the text window was very small and it was hard to read. In version 8, we've given you a much larger text window to work with. Another feature that we introduced in version 7 was the inventory management program. We've improved on it in version 8 by adding two more options, an option to require a work order number or an option to require a VIN number. In the inventory management, you can manage your installers and the film rolls that they use to cut. If you click on the film rolls, you can input a film and in it place the amount on the roll. So let's say this is a new roll, and you can put a film warning pop-up window that will pop up when it gets down to 30 feet or whatever feet you choose. Click Update, go back, and you can also assign your installers a code. In this case, we've assigned a code of JD, and we'll go back, and we're also going to require a work order number and a VIN number to be put in when they go to cut. So when your installer goes to cut the windows of the car and he hits the cut button, he will have to select whatever roll he's cutting from, put in his installer code, whatever work order number you might want to put in there, or VIN number. You don't have to have both. You could have one or the other. And he clicks cut. Now at the end of the day, you can go back in and click on the reports. We'll select this one day. Go to film utilization detail and click process, and it will show what cars were cut that day. In this case, we cut the Ford Mustang. John Doe was the installer. That was the roll number, the work order number, and the VIN number. And then you can print this out if you would like at the end of the day, so you know exactly how much film was used and who installed it. So in this Ford Mustang, we used 3.5 foot on that one cut. So if I go back into the inventory management and go back into the film roll and into this film, you'll see that the feet was reduced from the 100, and it's now down to 96 feet. And each time that car is cut, it will reduce the amount that was on the roll, and then once it gets down to your low warning, you'll see a pop-up window that will tell you that you need to order more material. We know that getting fast, reliable technical support to solve your problems is very important to both you and to us. In version 8, we've added a remote technical support function in ComputerCut. Go to Help, Remote Support, and it'll take you to the members site, TeamViewer Quick Support, and you click on the Quick Support link and either save or run the TeamViewer Quick Support program, and it will give you an ID and a password that you can give to our technician, and he can help you. One final improvement we made in version 8 is the ability to feed out the material at the end of the cut so you can cut it off the plotter. This is especially useful with our Jaguar plotter because there's a groove in the plotter where you can cut, and it's about 4 inches on the front, down on the front of the plotter. To do this, click on Options, Setup, and then Plotter, and down here you'll see Feed after the cut, and you just place whatever amount you want to feed at the end of the cut here. Each time it is cut, it'll feed it out so you can cut it off the plotter. I hope you enjoy these new improvements to ComputerCut. If you have any questions, you can reach us on our technical support line, 1-800-348-3193, or international +1 561 689 2920.